A man sits in a hospital bed at 63 years old, not dying from disease, not recovering from an accident. He's there because his body finally collapsed under the weight of 40 years of quiet desperation. His heart gave out, and in that sterile room, hooked up to machines, he tells his daughter something that haunts her to this day. He says, "I did everything right. I took the safe job. I married the sensible choice. I saved for retirement. I never risked anything. And now I'm realizing I never actually lived. I just existed in a holding pattern, waiting for a tomorrow that was supposed to feel different." That man isn't a metaphor. He's my uncle, and his words changed everything about how I understand safety. Here's what this video is going to give you. Not motivation, not inspiration. Something far more valuable. Clarity. You're going to understand the true mathematics of playing it safe. Not the fantasy version where caution equals security, but the brutal reality where every safe choice has a compound cost that most people never calculate until it's too late. By the end, you'll have a framework for making decisions that accounts for the real risk, the one almost everyone ignores. The risk of arriving at the end of your life and realizing you optimized for the wrong thing entirely. Let's talk about what playing it safe actually looks like in practice. Because nobody calls it that. They call it being responsible, being practical, being smart. Consider the most common safe path. You graduate. You take a job that pays well but means nothing to you. You tell yourself it's temporary, just until you save enough, just until the timing is right, just until you figure out what you really want. 5 years pass. You've adapted. The discomfort has become familiar, and familiar feels like okay. You buy things to make the emptiness quieter. A nicer apartment, a better car, vacations that look perfect in photos. 10 years pass. Now you have a mortgage. Maybe kids. The golden handcuffs aren't even golden anymore. They're just handcuffs. And that thing you were going to do someday? It stopped feeling possible somewhere around year 7, and you didn't even notice when it happened. I watched this exact pattern destroy someone I grew up with. Brilliant guy. Wanted to be a writer since we were 12. Wrote constantly through high school and college. Got accepted to a competitive MFA program. Turned it down because his father convinced him it wasn't practical. Took a corporate communications job instead. He's 44 now. Hasn't written anything in 9 years. When I asked him about it recently, he just said, "I don't even know if I can anymore." That voice is gone. He made the safe choice, and it cost him the thing that made him feel alive. This isn't about being reckless. This is about understanding what safety actually costs when you extend the timeline far enough. So why do we do this? Why do intelligent people consistently choose paths that lead to quiet regret? It's not stupidity. It's biology fighting against mathematics. Your brain evolved to avoid immediate threats, a lion, a cliff, a rival tribe. It did not evolve to calculate the long-term psychological damage of spending 30 years in fluorescent lighting doing work that means nothing to you. This creates a brutal asymmetry. The pain of taking a risk is immediate, vivid, and terrifying. Your nervous system screams at you. The pain of playing it safe is slow, invisible, and distributed across decades. It doesn't announce itself. It accumulates like carbon monoxide, odorless and lethal. There's also something deeper. We've been sold a massive lie about how security works. We're taught that if we just follow the rules, check the boxes, do what's expected, we'll be rewarded with stability. But look around. People who did everything right get laid off. Markets crash, industries disappear. The loyal employee gets replaced by someone younger and cheaper. The safe path was never actually safe. It just felt safe. And that feeling came at the cost of building real resilience, real skills, real adaptability. The person who took risks and failed multiple times, they developed something priceless: the ability to survive uncertainty. The person who played it safe developed something far more dangerous: the assumption that they can't handle anything else. Here's a framework I call the regret calculation. It's how you make decisions when you're serious about not wasting your life. Step 1. Fast forward mentally to age 80. Assume you're still sharp, still aware, but your body limits what you can do. From that vantage point, evaluate the choice in front of you. Not will this work, but will I regret not trying? Step 2. Calculate the true cost of inaction. Most people only calculate the cost of action. What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if people judge me? They never calculate what they lose by not acting. The years, the possibilities, the version of themselves they never become. Write it down. Force yourself to see it on paper. Step 3. Identify the minimum viable risk. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow to stop playing it safe, but you do have to do something. What's the smallest action that would move you toward what actually matters? Maybe it's one conversation, one application, 1 hour a day on something real. The goal isn't to blow up your life, it's to stop the bleeding, to interrupt the pattern before another decade vanishes. Step 4. Create a decision deadline. Uncertainty loves to linger. Give yourself a specific date by which you will make a choice. Not forever, a date. Then honor it. Now here's something that might not make sense at first. The counterintuitive truth about playing it safe is that it requires more courage to recover from than bold failure ever does. When you take a risk and fail, you have a story. You have lessons. You have proof that you tried. You can grieve, adjust, and move forward. But when you play it safe for decades and then wake up to what you've lost, there's no external event to process, no dramatic failure to learn from, just the slow, horrifying recognition that you did this to yourself through 1,000 small surrenders. That's a wound that doesn't heal easily, because the enemy was never out there. It was the voice in your own head that kept saying, "Not yet, not you, not now." Recovering from bold failure takes months. Recovering from safe regret can take whatever years you have left. And sometimes, it never happens at all. Let me bring this back to my uncle. He recovered from that hospital visit. Changed his entire life at 64. Started the business he'd dreamed about for decades. Failed twice. Succeeded on the 3rd attempt. Told me last year it was the first time since his 20s that he felt like himself. But he also told me this. He said, "I'll never get those 40 years back. I spent them in a waiting room for a life that was never going to start on its own. Don't do the math at the end. Do it now, while the numbers still work in your favor. The cost of playing it safe isn't staying still. It's moving backward while convincing yourself you're standing steady. Every day you choose the path that just feels secure. You're paying a price you can't see until the bill comes due. And that bill always comes due." So here's my question for you, and I want you to actually answer it in the comments. What's the one thing you've been playing it safe on? The thing you think about late at night but keep pushing off? Name it. Write it down, because that's where your real life is waiting. If this hit you somewhere real, subscribe. I make content for people who are done with comfortable lies and ready for uncomfortable truth. The next video goes deeper. I'll see you there.